Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson, and we have an exceptional show for you today. And I'm super glad that you guys are here checking in and really educating yourself and getting to learn more. And really honored to have you as my guest as you're listening along. So a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to someone that took the time to go to Apple and leave a 5-star review. So this is, listen, first of all, I love when you guys do this. I mean, I know it takes a little time to get it done. It's not always easy. It's not always fast. But at the end of the day, it really makes my heart super, super excited. So this comes from Share61584. It says, very helpful. I really appreciate all the real life, detailed, and practical info that Corey shares on his podcast. So thank you so much for that. Hey, listen, I love it when you guys do this. It lets me know you care and it makes sure that I'm on track. So again, thank you for the time to actually go out on iTunes and leave a review. I'll take any review. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad or ugly. Okay, with that said, really want to make sure that we talk about some things that are going on in the Kahuna world. So we have 5 spots left to fill for our mastermind. So if you are really looking for a mentor, a coach, someone that would help sponsor your deals, we give you all our course and all our information, all our products that we've ever created, we give this to you. And that's if you join our mastermind. So we have 5 spots that are open. If you'd like to be considered for that mastermind, we're really looking for people that are either successful in the fix and flip or wholesaling area, or if you're just, you've got some experience in business or you're an entrepreneur of some sort, say, shape, or form, that would be our best fit. We probably can get the most out of it with you. Not looking for green, I've never done real estate in my whole life people. So other than that, if you'd like to apply, you need to email my wife, Shelly. So it's Shelly, Shelley, at kahunainvestments.com, and just tell her why you should be considered. So it costs $5,000 up front, $1,000 a month. We meet 3 times a year. We have monthly accountability calls. We have guest speakers that come in. And we're actually getting ready to go to Hawaii, I believe in February this spring. So we're going to have a really cool outing. And it'll be really cool. It's really neat. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great way for, more importantly, I guess I want to say this, is you get access to me. We only run this group right now. It's around 15 people. We're getting ready to expand it to 30. Not ready yet. We'll probably do that at the second part of next year, second half of next year. But right now it's about 15 people, and it's really private. It's really intimate, and you get a lot of access to me. I'm helping you, coach you, guide you. And then, of course, the rest of the group that are actually out there doing deals. So I think you'll find it really valuable. All right. With that said, my next guest is Marco Santarelli, and he's a real estate investor. He's actually on the Inc. 5000 at position 925, and he's done it with only 10 staff. Now that's pretty cool. That's pretty amazing because he has really great systems and processes, and really he helps people acquire profitable real estate investments nationwide. Marco got into real estate at age 18, and he got his license and he sold real estate. And at the age of 23, he basically has been in this space. So Marco is now focused on helping 1 million people create wealth and passive income and put them on a path to financial freedom with real estate. So put your hands together and help me welcome Marco. All right, Marco, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Corey. It's an honor to be on your show, and I'm really excited about this. So let's bring value to your audience.
Oh, awesome. I always love everybody to start off with kind of telling their origin story, or like, where did you come from and how did you get your business going, and where kind of are you now?
Yeah, Corey, it's a good question, and thanks for asking. So, to kind of abbreviate my story I started investing in real estate when I turned 18 years old. I started actually studying entrepreneurship, business, and real estate when I was about 15 or 16. I wasn't even driving, but I was getting my parents to buy me the books. So I was reading and learning, about business and investing because I was just fascinated by the whole subject of wealth and money. Back then I thought, hey, I'm going to be rich. But today, looking back, it's not about being rich, it's about being wealthy. And there's really a difference between being rich and wealthy. But, as the years went on, I continued to invest in real estate. I got my real estate license and, started selling real estate and just really cut my teeth across the board. But honestly, I'm just a serial entrepreneur. I love business. I love to create income, especially passive streams of income. And then I like to use real estate as a way to magnify and accelerate my wealth creation and preserve that wealth. Back to your question, just over the years, I think the major turning point in my life, one of the biggest turning points in my journey, if you will, was that time when we were inflating the stock market because of this .com era. The whole internet was the rage, and it ultimately culminated into a .com crash. Well, I was a third co-founder in a .com company. We had raised $9.5 million of venture capital funding and grow this company to 105 employees. And things were going well. And you have this vision in your mind of being, the next .com millionaire.
Yeah.
And we were on that path. But then the NASDAQ crashed, so the stock market crashed, venture capital funding dried up, there was no more credit, and if you weren't a company that was cash flow positive, you weren't able to sustain yourself, and guess what? You had to close the doors. So here I was laying off a majority of that 105 employees.
Just
And,
like that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was almost overnight. We basically folded the company, and my dream of being a multimillionaire because of the internet age disappeared. So I didn't want another job, a job, or what they call just over broke. I didn't want to go back into corporate America. And I just decided to take some time off and reflect and find out what I really want to do. Well, I loved entrepreneurship and I loved real estate. So I decided to go into real estate full time. And that was one thing that came out of it. The other thing that came out of it was the light bulb moment where investors were coming to me and saying, hey, you're buying a lot of property in a very short period of time, and you're just doing everything that we want to do. Can you mentor or coach me? And I'm saying, sorry, I don't have the time. But I do see a lot of deal flow, and I'm happy to pass those deals on to you. And that's where our current business today was born 16 and a half years ago, is just out of investors' needs for having education and going after education, but not pulling the trigger, being able to pick markets, neighborhoods, properties, and just go through the whole process.
Yeah. So we call that the turnkey model in the single family business. That I call, well, that's what I call it, but I don't know if that's what you call it as well. But so that's a great model because, hey, think about this, right? There's a lot of people that have read all the books and did all the other things that, they've got knowledge, but at the end of the day, they just may not have the confidence to go all the way and do it. And really what they want is someone to help and guide them. And really, most of these people are busy professionals. They usually either got other jobs where they've made some money, but we all know real estate is a good place. I mean, most people that are multimillionaires seem to have a little bit of real estate in their portfolio. So they know they need it. They just don't know how. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, I mean, we work with clients that are newbies that are just buying their first property. They've got their first $25,000 to put towards a down payment on a single family home. And we've got clients on the other end of the spectrum that literally will come to us with, $1.7 million and just say, hey, I've got this cash. I need to put it to work. I don't want to keep it in a savings account where it's losing value because it's being eroded by inflation. What do I do with it? So let's put it to work. And, that could be a portfolio of single families, duplexes, a bunch of new construction fourplexes. Maybe there's, some apartment syndications that are thrown into the mix.
Right.
But, there's a wide spectrum of people who love and want and need real estate.
Yeah, I love that. That it really is. It's either all the way to the newbie to the guy with 1.7 million. But because everybody, it's still the same concept. Hey, help me go find a property to invest in, right? And then are you guys then holding their hands a little bit to like say, hey, here's the bank you should probably use to help, get qualified for as much bank money as you can. And then we'll use the difference in your cash to get the loans, or How much do you hold people's hands? You actually find the deals for them as well, right?
So yeah, so figuratively speaking, we're holding their hand a lot. So we like to call it a turnkey real estate investing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the tagline on our website is we provide the knowledge, resources, and properties. So the knowledge is things like what you're doing right now, creating value out of a podcast, writing articles, publishing reports, publishing books. All that content that's put out there is the education part. And really, it's all free. You can educate yourself today for virtually nothing, no cost, because even books are nothing. They're 10, 15 bucks.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no excuse not to educate yourself. It's crap when I hear somebody say, hey, I don't know enough. Well, hey, it's right there. It's in
Google
front of you.
it.
It's free. It's on your phone. Open up your smartphone.
Don't you have Google?
Exactly. It's on your smartphone. You carry around more information on this device than they have in the, Library of Congress, right? So, so the education's there. We pump out a lot of it.
Yeah.
But then the resources are what you're talking about. Everything from mortgage lenders that specialize with investment properties and real estate investors, asset protection attorneys, professional full service property management companies, inspectors, tax advisors, title companies, everything that you could possibly need is in our network. We've vetted them. We've worked with them. Sometimes we've worked with them for years. So we're going to provide all that to you again at no cost.
And that's a big help too for people that don't have that expertise, because there's something to say about vetted people, right? Like I believe in this wholeheartedly, because you could, not all, tax CPAs are the same. If you have one that understands real estate really well, they're going to be able to understand that language a lot better. And they'll be able to help your clients so much faster and get them the results they're looking for than someone that's totally just doing normal people's tax returns, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, in addition to all those resources, so you've got education or knowledge, you've got resources. And then where I started is now, ultimately the end of that food chain, and that is, the property. So, not to, sound like it's, a pitch for our business, but just to give some context, we operate in 25 markets. And we have single families, duplexes, fourplexes across the country, mostly the Midwest and the Southeast, but across these 25 markets. And these are markets that we spend time researching. In fact, I actually track 504 metropolitan areas in the U.S. and keep track of, population growth, demographic changes, their local economy, the housing market, supply and demand, affordability, whether the numbers make sense. And we, in an ideal world, I would only want 6 markets, but unfortunately, because inventory is so tight across the country, we've had to go wide into more markets.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have access to all these markets and the inventory of properties that we have in those markets for you to invest, for you to build your portfolio, and for you to create passive income and create wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the fundamentals are still the same, trying to find good value deals. And then you guys are then passing those on to investors, kind of with someone already in there renting, so they can just take it and go.
Exactly. Yep. And we love what we do. I mean, our overall goal or our mission is really to help 1 million people create wealth and passive income and put them on the path to financial freedom using real estate.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's our mission.
So let's talk about that part of the, finding those investors, because I think that's something that would cross-pollinates to the syndication world a lot. Is we're always in the syndication world, we're always trying to find active investors, people that are looking for an alternative, what I say, alternative to the stock market, or for whatever reasons they don't want to do the CDs or bonds or what's a traditional investment out there. They want something real. They want a piece of property. What have you learned through your experience in how to find these people and how to attract them?
So you're talking about the investors themselves?
Yeah.
Well, that might be a marketing question, and if it is, I can answer it from a marketing perspective. The reality is there are people all over the country that want to be involved in real estate, and they either don't know how to get started, or they think about it and they want to make a move or start investing, but outside of a REIT, on Wall Street, they're looking for a guy like you, or maybe someone like me to help them.
Yep.
And so you need to basically put yourself in front of them, get yourself out there. And that at the end of the day, that's really a marketing problem. So how do you do that? It's a matter of working your network, communicating, making sure you tell everybody in the world what you do.
Right.
Start building a real estate, an email list. If you got a list, great. Start marketing to them, ask for referrals. And if you're not building a list, you got to start building a list. If you're a syndicator and you're not building a list, I mean, you're basically hanging yourself. That's just suicide. So get yourself a website, start putting out some content, free content, as well as some premium content that you give away for free in exchange for an email address and a name.
Yep.
And then now you can start building a relationship with them. You nurture that list. I don't necessarily recommend going out and buying a list, but putting out content in the form of maybe a book or an ebook or a report or doing a podcast like you're doing. Now you could reach a larger body of people and bring them into your world and start building a relationship with them, because now they start to learn what you do.
Yes. This is the best part of this. It's the same, no matter whether it's my business, your business. And a lot of people don't understand this. I think they don't, if they did, they would just get there so much faster. Teach what you know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you got to do. Even if you know this much, right? Like a little bit, teach that. And that'll attract a certain type of person who needs to learn that. And then as you get better and better, you have bigger ideas and stuff like that. But the goal is that's really how you build your list of people, is you got to add value to their lives. And that's why I think most of us that are in this world of finding investors, you educate, you teach, you just created so much pieces of information and where to get it, that you're attracting the people that you want to come in. And through that, they'll get to know, like, and trust you. And then they'll decide for themselves, do I resonate with this person or not? And, you'll find your tribe.
Yeah, I think Seth Godin actually was the one who referred to it as a tribe. You build your tribe. Not everybody's going to like you. Some people are going to love you. Some people are going to hate you. But look, indirectly, you might want to create a goal of having as many people hate you as possible, because if you don't have a tribe or group of people that hate you, you're not reaching enough people, right? So, but at least, look, Grant Cardone says it best, love me or hate me, at least you know me.
but that is true though, right? I mean, there's truth in that. It's like, if you don't have haters, you're not doing it hard enough.
Right.
Right. And it's really weird, because that's one of the biggest things when you first get into this business, to learn that you got to deal with that negativity aspect of it, because not everybody's going to think you're right. And that's really weird when you first start. Is it not for you when you first got into, you're like, oh, how do I deal with this stuff, right? The negativity.
I never even thought about it in the beginning. It wasn't for a long time until a few people were saying, hey, I disagree, or you ruffled my feathers somehow. It's like, well, what did I say that cheesed you off? Then I realized, you just can't make everybody happy. You'll never say everything to make 100% of people happy out there. It's just not possible. So
that's a great nugget, by the way. Yeah.
Teach what you know, whatever you know and love and are passionate about, and then you'll reach the people who resonate with you. You'll draw those people in, and that's your audience. That's basically who you're serving.
Yeah. And are you hitting most of these people via email, via direct mail? Is there anything specific you can give us to kind of that you guys do for your company?
Well, in the beginning, the best thing I did was actually focus heavily on building my subscriber list, my email list. It was an email list, and then it became a subscriber list, because I was starting to put content out on my website that I was giving away for free in exchange for their name and email. Yep. And I just kept on that. I've never stopped. I still to this day, put out content. Like right now, it's the ultimate guide to passive real estate investing. And it's 40 some pages. I mean, it's a great primer on real estate investing, regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
And it's been downloaded multiple thousands.
How do they find it right now? That's on your website, right?
Yeah. Well, we have two websites. So it's NoradaRealEstate.com, Norada, the name of our company, NoradaRealEstate.com. And Passive Real Estate Investing is the sister website. It's the home of our podcast under the same name of Passive Real Estate Investing. So it doesn't matter which website you go to, you'll see that there's a button or a
Yeah, I
link
scrolled
there.
down. I actually just went on your website right before I had you on, and I scrolled down to it, and it's like, hey, become one of our subscribers, right? And which is genius. Like, it doesn't even have to be any harder than that. Like,
Yeah, I actually rephrased it to sound like it has more value. Instead of saying being a subscriber, why not say be a member? You know, be one of
yes,
our members, and that membership is free. Just
yeah,
subscribe to your name and email. Now you are part of our family, our tribe, and once a week I'm going to send you an email with some valuable content. So I didn't charge for that, but now they feel like they're part of something.
yes. And people, I mean, they don't click that unless they want to learn more. I mean, that's just the way
Right.
we're even more so now than ever. We just know that we don't click things that we don't want to be part of. And so
Right.
if
And
they
if
do,
this
that
is
means they're
something,
saying they just raised their hand and said, well, tell me more.
yeah. Yeah, and whether you're starting out or not, but especially if you're starting out, really work social media, because social media is a powerful tool and it's free. So you can reach not only your network, but your networks, and it has this mushroom effect. So, you know, it's free. Did I mention it was free?
Yeah, and free is as a nice word. Like,
Yeah.
you can
So
spend a
why
lot of
not
money
put,
on marketing. Yeah.
yeah, so put your knowledge and your experience and your value, your reports, your articles, your podcast, whatever it is, in front of those people and those people. And that's a great place to start. You don't have to spend money. I mean, you can do paid advertising, you can promote your posts, you can do pay-per-click, you know, all that stuff. But that's kind of the next level up.
Right. Yep. I totally agree. And then let's talk about one of my favorite sources. And it's probably one of your favorites as well, is the referral.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
referrals
Well,
would really drives your business, I think, more than anything else. Once you get that core group of people, um, what do you guys do there? How do you treat your referrals, or how do you ask for them as well?
well, it's exactly that. You ask. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, some people are just so impressed with you, or they're so happy with your service, they will naturally tell their friends, right?
Yep.
And the interesting thing is, you know, if they're at a party or they're with their friends, it'll come up in conversation at some point in time. So they're going to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm investing some real estate." And if that becomes a conversation, they say, "Yeah, you know, I'm working with, you know, Corey, or I'm working with Norada, or whoever it may be." So, but if you put it out in front of them and ask, just say, "Hey, you know, we would appreciate a referral. That would be great." Now, the best time to actually ask is right after they've invested with you, right after they've taken action. As soon as they've spent or invested some cash, they've made a financial commitment. Now they are at their height of involvement, engagement, and excitement. And that's the best time to ask them for that referral. Ask
That
them at
is
that
a
point.
great nugget right there. Ask at the height, right?
Yeah, that they're at the height of their, you know, excitement, engagement, and involvement with you. They're not only financially committed, but they're committed across the board. Now is the best time for them to be wanting or willing to refer somebody to you. That's when you hit them up for a referral.
Dude, that's a great piece of nugget right there, because that makes so much sense. In fact, I mean, I'm thinking about my own business. I do it a little bit later on, but I'm like, I never thought of it that way. And that's a great concept, because once they say yes, they have just now turned the whole page, and they are very in tune, because we're still doing paperwork at this point, right? They said yes, but now we got to do paperwork, and then it'll eventually come in. But during that whole process, they're very actively engaged in what we're doing. So why not say, hey, who else do you know that I should know? You
Right,
know,
exactly.
so we can get other your friends and people that you care about into an investment like this, right?
Yep.
Boom. That's huge. So when it comes to the markets, you said you're in some markets. Now you're currently, oh gosh, my dog just jumped in.
We're going to interview your dog too.
Yeah. um, uh, the markets that you're in, you're actually in California, and California real estate's pretty hot, or probably hard to invest in. So I'm sure you're not using that as your market. How did you go find your markets? Really, what led you to the markets that you're currently in? Is it really just
So
using the data, or yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I have a trademarked saying, it's live where you want, invest where it makes sense. And so I live here only because I've chosen to live here, because I like it for many reasons for my residents, but not because I invest here. And I wouldn't touch California with a 10-foot pole right now, just because of, the business climate, the overregulation, the expensive real estate market, the high cost of living, on and on the list goes. So what do you do? In 2003, 2004, I started investing in other markets over 2,000 miles away from my home here in Southern California. And in the process of doing that, I've made my fair share of mistakes, but I've put systems and processes in place. And those systems and processes is ultimately what became the model and the checklist that we use with every single one of our clients every time we're working with somebody. So in choosing
That's
markets,
huge. It's systems and processes, because the farther you get away from a site or a market, it really has to be systems and processes to solve for the distance, right? You got to have a structure for what you're going to do.
yeah, it becomes more important. I mean, you still need systems and processes, even if you're investing in, 2 blocks down the road from where you live.
Yep.
You're going to have a process and a checklist of things that you need to do, but it becomes more important as you invest further and further away, because you're going to rely on more and more people. So,
with people comes complexity.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, absolutely. But when you have those in place, it helps to assure your success. So in choosing markets, the 2 key things I look for, I mean, there's other factors as well, but the 2 major factors are population growth and employment. And when I talk about employment, I'm talking about the job environment. Is there positive job growth? And is there a wide diversification or spectrum of industry within that market? I don't want a market that's pigeonholed into just oil and gas or predominantly, potatoes.
Yeah, or military base. Like all this, the biggest driver is the military base. Well, what happens
right.
if they decide to downsize the base, right? Oh.
Yeah, that could be problematic if it's very densely based on that. So I like variety is not the word I'm looking for, but I like the diversification of jobs spread across different industries, from manufacturing to hospitality to, construction to whatever it may be, finance.
Yeah.
But job growth is important because jobs bring people in and keep people there so they can live there, pay their mortgage or rent, et cetera, et cetera. The population growth is just a function of economics. It drives demand. So as demand goes up, you have more of a need for housing, new construction, as well as existing housing, and your rental pool stays strong and actually grows. So you have more people that need to.
Which means you can raise your rents, right?
Well, if there's enough demand, yes, it will push rents and property values up. So those are the drivers in real estate. So fundamentally, it always comes back to supply and demand.
Yep.
Those are the 2 big things. So population growth and jobs and job growth. Beyond that, you want to look at, do the numbers make sense? I mean, we have jobs in markets all across the coast of California. So we have the jobs. We have population growth, because even though people are leaving the state, there's still a lot of people that are coming into the state.
Yep.
But what's keeping property values so astronomically high here is shortage of supply. There's not a lot of buildable land, and we don't have enough existing inventory for the number of people that want that housing. So supply is short, demand is strong, and so that keeps property values floating up there into the stratosphere. So just because you have,
which then makes the numbers harder to work and pencil to buy it as an investment in that market, right?
Right, it doesn't work. Why would you want to buy a $1 million 1-bedroom condo in San Francisco, which is, ridiculously expensive, but you can only rent it for $4,500. The rent to value ratio is just so low here.
Yeah. And that's really, I love what you said earlier, is just live where you want, invest where it makes sense. And that's the key word, is sense. And really it's not just one, particular data point that you're looking at. It's the whole thing. It's the whole mix. And then, what you're doing in those markets, once you've identified some markets, I'm assuming you're putting together a team of people and contractors and people to help you find those deals, and then contractors to help you fix all the broken stuff, and then take these properties and put some value add, or just enough to make it a really nice rentable type of unit. And then there's another marketing aspect with finding the right tenant, placing the tenant in there, and now you've got something to really add value to an investor that's coming off the street and that's new and says, "Hey, how do I do this?" You're like, "Just take this. We've made it for you. All you have to do is fund it and buy it, and we'll even help you manage it as well." I'm sure you guys offer management as well.
Yeah, that's part of that whole package of resources. So you could think of this as almost a done for you model, but it's really done with you, because we've probably done 70-80% of the work, due diligence, research, assembling the team and resources and tools and knowledge. The other 20% is what we're going to hold your hand with and walk you through, because you're going to still need to pick a market based upon your investment goals. Then you're going to have a criteria that, if you don't, we'll pull it out of your head for you. And then based on that criteria, now we choose the markets, neighborhoods, and properties that you're going to start investing in, and we're going to help you do that due diligence.
Yep.
To your point about property management, yeah, there's 5 key people on your team, and that whole network of resources that we provide you include these 5 people. So number one, you need an acquisitions person or an acquisitions team. So if you're looking for properties, who's bringing you those deals? Well, that's how we started 16 and a half years ago. We were providing the properties, and then everything else just kind of fell into place after that.
Yep.
So who's your acquisitions person? Are they bringing you wholesale deals, turnkey deals, rent-ready deals off the MLS? Are they, trying to find value-add multifamily properties for you? Whatever. You got your acquisitions people. Then you have your professional full-service property managers. That's critically important, because those are the guys who are managing your assets as you acquire them.
I think that's one of the most important, like, other than buying it right, that next piece, managing it correctly, it goes hand in hand. Because if you don't have one without the other, you've got a mess.
Absolutely, right. So yeah, that is probably the most important person on your team on an ongoing basis, because you're always working with your property manager.
Yep.
The third person is really your lending partners, be it mortgage brokers and lenders. Those are the guys who are providing the financing for your deals as you acquire them. Now, you don't work with them every month or every week, but they're always there.
Yep.
And then the fourth and fifth are really ongoing support, and that is your tax advisor, because you want to obviously minimize and eliminate taxes. And fifth is your asset protection attorney. So that way, whenever you are making changes or adding properties to your portfolio, you've got them properly protected. And
you're limiting your liability on something if something goes wrong, that you're not
right.
lose everything. The house of cards doesn't happen. Like, you've got everything set up correctly from the asset protection side. Well, and that's huge, right? That's really is the whole gamut, and that's great that you just put it in very simple terms and make it make sense, because that's really what most investors really need when you're going into a deal. And for you guys to provide all that, and then also the education and the training for that, that's invaluable. I mean, it helps you get from point A to point B without making mistakes. And the mistakes can be costly at times.
Yes, they can, very costly. So it's better to protect yourself early on than, wait until it's too late. So.
And the great thing is, because Marco's made a lot of mistakes, right? So is Corey Peterson.
Yeah, I think we all do, and experience is the best teacher. So
yeah. I was just saying, like, what do you learn more from, your wins or your losses? And everybody, we did a poll in a group, and everybody's like, yeah, it's the losses, man. Like,
yeah.
when they're really painful, that you're like, I won't do that again. And you mean it, right? When you win, you're like, oh, I did something right, but you don't always know what you did exactly right. But when you lose, you can really point your finger to the thing that, oh man, I should have not have done this. Right.
Right.
And that it becomes experience. Right.
Yep.
And really what you're providing to a lot of the people that come into your organization is all the resources, but also the experience to help them get, to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll gain that experience as you go. Hopefully it's a good experience, and you'll learn from, the deals that go right, and you won't be learning from things that go wrong, because you're learning from other people who've already had that experience, and now they're, passing it on to you.
Key. Yes.
Yeah, and now you don't step on the same landmines. You'll have your own landmines that you step on.
Yeah.
But hopefully they're not the same ones as whoever shoulders you're standing on.
Exactly. Your mentors, the people that you get education from, that's why we pay for if you get it for free, even better, which you can, but if you pay for that kind of stuff, that service, that's what you're paying for, is speed. And so you don't have to hit the landmines and have oh gosh, I just took 4 steps backwards on this deal. Right. And if they would have listened to a mentor, sometimes like you would have never bought that deal. You would have just bypassed it. Right. And really that's invaluable. That really is the piece that people that are new, I mean, even seasoned guys, gosh, sometimes we all need another set of eyes just to help us along the journey. Because real estate is a journey. I mean, you just said it earlier. You said, this is where we're at on our journey.
Yeah, it is. It is a journey. You start somewhere with nothing or with, frustration, and you work your way to the point where you actually achieve your goals. And most people will call that financial freedom.
Yeah. So where do you see your company going from here, where you're at now? I mean, for the last 15 years, you kind of figured out your turnkey. Where do you go in the next 15? What does that look like for you?
Well, I think I mentioned it before. We have this overall mission of helping 1 million people create wealth and passive income with real estate. So it's all about creating financial freedom and time freedom. So everything we're doing is to help feed that. So it's most of it, believe it or not, is actually just education and putting out content and books and free information. So we put out a lot of that, and then we'll help the people who want our help in buying investment real estate, whether it's, like I said, single families, fourplexes, note investments, syndications, whatever it may be. So that's what the next 5 to 15 years looks like. But we're helping a lot of people now invest in real estate, and that's just year over year continues to grow. I mean, last year we were on the Inc. 5000. We expect to be on there again next year.
Very cool. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
that's a
it.
huge accomplishment. And I think you said you've only done it with a staff of 10.
Yeah, we have. Well, yeah, it's about 9. It's 9. I think it's 9.
Yeah, right.
So
that's impressive.
But very, very lean and efficient. We're on pace to probably sell about 800 properties this year. So
that's a feat, my friend.
Yeah.
I think about it in the multifamily world. Like, for me, I'm trying to buy 3 deals a year, right? Like that are 100 to 200 units, right? So that's 3 deals for me. You're doing 800 deals. That's our little quads or duplexes or whatever. That's a lot of moving pieces, my friend.
It is. It's actually, the way I look at it, it's a lot of investors that we were able to help to get into real estate or continue building their portfolio.
I love that you go right back to your mission. That's when you got it right. Everything you do is I've heard you say it now 4 times. You go right back to, why are we doing this? Because we help our investors. Yeah. It's only to serve. Right,
exactly.
Dude, what a great place to be. Like that's got to be such a rewarding feeling. At the end of the day, when you get done with work, you're like, man, we helped some people today. It really is truly a great calling, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny. I never, you asked me 30 years ago what I would have been doing if I would have been in this place. I wouldn't know. I had no idea. I mean, I know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know I would be helping a lot of people.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you could give, let's, because we have a little bit of an eclectic group. We have new people that have been there. I always like to talk to the new ones because I think they need to hear it the most. But what piece of advice would you give for a new person coming into the real estate industry that would maybe help motivate them or get them going on the right path? What would you say to do? And it doesn't have to be just like education-wise. It could be whatever you think.
Well, the best investment you can make, and it's said that the greatest return on investment is an investment in yourself. So if you've got $1,000 or even $5,000, you're wondering, where should I invest it? Why don't you start investing in that yourself first? Like build your knowledge and then build your confidence. Because if you've got those 2 things, if you got confidence and competence, you're going to be able to go fast, far fast.
Yeah.
But that's really the starting point. And then where a lot of people fail, and this is really how my business actually got started 16 plus years ago, is taking action. So many people take the step to educate themselves, but then they don't actually pull the trigger and do something with it. They don't take action. And that's really a major failure. That decision not to take action is a decision to fail. So don't do that to yourself. Do something. Even if you're not 100% sure and 100% confident, but you've got a 70 to 80% feeling that the probability is stacked in your favor. Well, guess what? The odds are stacked in your favor. You're likely to succeed, not likely to fail. So you might as well move forward with your gut feeling or your research showing that this is the right decision, and not knowing 100% for sure, and then finding out later, because odds are you probably made the right decision and you're now 1 or 2 properties ahead of the game.
Amen. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming onto our podcast and providing some tremendous value. If people want to get a hold of you again, how do they find you again?
Yeah, like I said, 2 websites. You can find my team and myself and all our free resources and content, whatever else is noradarealestate.com, Norada. So noradarealestate.com, that's our mothership. And then the sister website is the home of our podcast, and that's passiverealestateinvesting.com.
All right, guys, listen, there you have it. One of the beautiful things about this business is there's lots of ways to get there. There's lots of ways to make wealth. There's lots of ways to make passive income. And there's actually lots of ways to help other people. And, Marco is that's exactly what he's doing. But it really starts with the formation of your mind. You have to make a choice and a decision that you want to do it, and then you drive with relentless passion in pursuit of that dream and goal, guys. Because if you believe it, you can achieve it, and your paradise is possible.